Hey everyone, welcome back to Ontario Gardening. Today we're going to quickly discuss some of the things that you can direct sow from seed right into the ground in April here in Ontario. So here we have a couple of things that we're going to try. It's the last few weeks of April here in Ontario. It's been cold. We have seen a little bit of frost. We even seen snow about mid-April, but some of these plants can be put into seed right into your garden at this time, and they are cool tolerant and will actually survive those types of conditions. Some of them actually thrive in those types of conditions. So basically, you're just going to plant and go, and you're going to let Mother Nature take over. The perfect part about planting in early spring like this comes with two pros. The first one is that you're not going to really have to do a lot of watering with these crops because come May, it's a pretty rainy season and it's going to take care of itself. The second nice thing about planting this early is instead of having a late summer crop with these vegetables, you might even get a midsummer crop, and you could potentially replant all over again midsummer and thus getting two crops in 1 year as opposed to one. This is awesome because here in Ontario we have such a slow and short growing season that if you could get two yields or two crops out of one season, you're laughing. Now, these are just for seeds. If you're planning to start any of these inside and get little seedlings going, I wouldn't recommend planting those until May 2-4, which is typically around the time that we can here in Southern Ontario. So again, if you're going to do this, do it directly from seed and let nature do its thing. You don't want to put seedlings outside right now. Once it hits the temperatures and at nighttime, it's probably too cold and your seedlings above the ground are going to die off. Whereas these are going to adapt to the soil and adapt to the growing conditions as it goes. Thus for it should be fine. So what can you plant, you ask? Let's take a look at the chart that I provide for you. It'll tell you everything that you need to know, and these are what we're going to try today. We're not going to do onion seeds, we're going to do onion sets. I'll talk a little bit about that once we get outside. So let's get planting. So these guys are onion sets. We're going to start off with them first. So instead of planting from seeds, you can go to the greenhouse or your local nursery. These were $4.99 for about 100 of them, and you plant these right into the ground, and your end here will sprout above ground while the onion continues to grow underground. So you're just going to make sure that you're planting them pointy side up where the sprout's going to come. Otherwise it'll start growing upside down and the root will take out under and curl under, and they might not pop above ground and get that sun that they need. So I trench these out. You can do it hole by hole if you wanted to, but this is just as easy, and you just plant them in about 1 inch under and lightly soil on top. Next, we're moving on to carrots. I'm going to try 3 different kinds this year. I usually just do the one, but we've got some purple carrots here and it'd be really cool to experiment. So I usually do carrots hole by hole. This year we're going to try trench gardening, and what trench gardening is you're essentially building a trench down your garden, and we're going to lightly sprinkle all the way through. Make sure we can get as many to germinate as possible and come above the soil, and then thin them out afterwards. So instead of just digging hole by hole and hoping that stuff grows in the holes, we're going to just go willy-nilly and see what happens. So just to show you, you take your seeds, and carrot seeds are pretty tiny, so you don't really need a lot. And we are going to just sprinkle them on through. And once we're done on camera here, I'll probably do a little bit heavier of a sprinkle, but just to show you. And again, soil on top, light watering. Next, we're going to do the iceberg lettuce. Now, the iceberg lettuce is a little bit different. You could do trenching here, but we're going to do hole by hole. Iceberg lettuce typically gets a big round head, so you want to make sure they're spaced decent enough apart. This might even be a little too close, but I don't have a huge garden, so we're going to make this work and see what happens. So you want to, with most of your seeds, you're going to want to take a couple and place 2 to 3 per hole, just to make sure that you at least get one to germinate. And again, over on top, and give a light watering. Next we have garlic, and it's very similar to the onion sets. You're going to want to plant so that the sprout comes to the top and grows above ground. This one I've trenched out as well instead of doing single holes. Again, you can do holes if that makes you feel more comfortable, but you're going to plant in and done. And the last thing I'm planting today is going to be our peas, and similar to the other crops, you want a couple per hole and put the dirt over top. And with these ones, because they spread and they kind of take over and like to climb up stuff, we put these trellis cages in. These are just from the dollar store. They came as one big one and we took them apart. So I just border around for now, and then as the peas grow, I might actually like put them in between as well, just to give them something to hang on to, and they just grow better and produce better, I find, when they have something to hold on to. So as I said before, you're going to give everything a light watering. I'm not going to today because it's supposed to rain in the next 2 hours, so I'm just going to save the water. Give everything a light watering, and the rest will take over. Just keep an eye on the weather. Make sure it's raining at least an inch a week just to keep that soil moist, and you should be good to go until you plant all your warm weather crops in a couple of weeks. Talk to you later. Bye.